Hey everybody, so here we are with our second to last, our penultimate week of the term, week 7. So what we have this week is something pretty simple. It's our final journal. The journal is in our journals folder. So when you go into our final shell, shell 4, you'll see that it contains folders for week 7 and 8. And then when you see the week 7 folder, it's going to refer you to the journals folder. So the week 7 folder is just a placeholder folder, just for the sake of consistency, but there's nothing in there, okay? Your work this week is going to be done in the journals folder, okay? So the journal, our third and final journal for the year, for the term, is going to be on what you are thinking in terms of your thesis for Hamlet. Remember, we are concentrating on Act 3, Scene 1, lines 63 to 97, the famous to be or not to be soliloquy, okay? So, I'm just asking you all the same journal format, at least 2 paragraphs. You could do as many as 3 paragraphs if you want, but they need to be fully formed paragraphs, error-free as best you can. Revise your writing before you submit it, okay? But you need to start talking to me, telling me, what are you thinking about what you want to write about? Now, we all have the same topic. We're all concentrating on that one soliloquy, okay? And remember, you're using that soliloquy to answer a question. And the answer to this question is going to be your thesis statement. The question, and I had it on last week's announcement, I have it again on this week's announcement. How is Hamlet's character revealed in that soliloquy, to be or not to be? What do we know about this Hamlet guy, okay, after reading that soliloquy? You could look at the other main soliloquies too in the play to deepen your understanding, but this is the standout one, okay? And then I gave you that video of David Tennant performing the soliloquy to kind of give you a sense of the flavor, the emotional intensity of that soliloquy right there. So what is being revealed here? Remember, the whole play, the characters are wondering if Hamlet is insane. Now, Hamlet kind of takes it upon himself to make everybody think he's insane or mad or severely troubled. And he uses that as kind of a deceptive rhetorical technique to get information that he wants from other various members of the play. You know, of course, King Claudius, Queen Gertrude, Ophelia, all the others, Fortinbras, Laertes, Polonius. He's trying to sort of coax them, trick them. Okay, the Hamlet, looking at himself, would probably say, I'm not crazy. They think I'm crazy, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. Okay, but when you play a role, and you all know this, when you play a part, think of all the different parts that you play in your life. We all have different roles in life, right? What you're seeing of me right now is but one of the many roles that I perform in all of the different aspects of my life, okay? This is a version of me. There are many other versions of me that you all are not privy to, but this is what you're seeing of me, okay? Similarly, Hamlet is very careful with how he curates his image, how he presents his image to the other characters in the play in order to achieve a goal of his, ostensibly to avenge the death of his father. You know, when his father, Mufasa, let's say, King Hamlet, comes through the clouds, the ghost of Hamlet, Mufasa, and says, "Remember who you are, avenge me." Does Hamlet, aka Simba, avenge him? Now, Simba's a little different because he eventually does go back and take his rightful place of the King of Pride Rock, deposing Scar. Well, a little different in Hamlet, isn't it? Everyone dies at the end, tragically. Okay, with poison, poison being drunk, poison swords, misunderstandings, etc. But does Hamlet rise to the challenge? Does he rise to the occasion? Remember, a lot of Hamlet's character, too, can be understood as this dichotomy between thought and action, or overthought, over-analysis, and inaction. Okay? What happens when you know that you have an obligation and you keep putting it off? You keep rationalizing in your head why you are putting it off, maybe trying to justify procrastinating to yourself. But what happens when there's a moment of no return where you have to address that matter? You've waited this long, now you've got to seize the opportunity, seize the moment. Well, if you waited too long and let the opportunities pass by you, the way you resolve that matter is probably not going to be, well, the best way, okay? If Hamlet acted sooner, if he got out of his head and took action and displayed real virtue and courage in fulfilling his obligations, maybe things would have been different, okay? So I give you guys some questions to ponder in the prompt here. Is he mad, insane, truly? Do you think he's truly? Everyone says he is, all throughout, especially King Claudius, Gertrude. He's crazy, he's mad, okay? Of course, he's despondent and melancholy at the outset. His father's dead, but then he finds out from his father's ghost that it was Hamlet's uncle who murdered Hamlet's father, and that augments his feelings of anger and melancholy. Okay. Do you think, remember, Hamlet's pretty self-aware that he's performing, but is he trapped in that performance? Is he overly identifying with his role as a performer? Is he losing his sense of self, his sense of identity? Okay. Might Shakespeare be trying to offer some kind of a commentary or criticism about human beings in his characterization of Hamlet, especially in Act 3, Scene 1, lines 63 to 97 in that soliloquy? Okay? Those are just some things to consider. Okay? But remember, you're focusing on what you are getting out of Hamlet's character as it is presented in that soliloquy. Okay? Remember, a thesis is something that you declare. It's a declarative statement, and then you are defending that statement using research, using your own insights and analysis, your own argumentative position in the body of the paper. Okay? Remember, this is going to be 4 to 6 pages, 3 to 5 secondary sources. Now, the primary source is the play itself. Of course, you have to quote directly or via paraphrase from the play. That's your primary source. You need 3 to 5 secondary sources as well. Okay? So those are the scholarly sources you find in Galileo. Okay? Going to the literature databases, and there are several there. Okay? And really, you guys should have been getting on this already. Research is a process. Okay? It's not going to reward those who wait till the 11th hour. Now remember, this thing is due next Friday, the 8th, and that is the very last minute that I can allow you all to turn that in, because just a few days later, that Monday, the 11th, by 10 a.m. no less, I have to have your grades all calculated and submitted, finalized, okay? So the 8th, circle it on your calendar, the 8th, Friday the 8th, by a minute before midnight, this thing is due. That's just under 2 weeks as of you all seeing this video, okay? So, only 2 things left. The journal this week, where you're kind of talking out how you're approaching this essay, what you think your thesis might be, okay? And then next week, we'll have the paper due Friday. Now, next week, too, I'll probably have a final blog opportunity as well. And that'll be our final blog, of course, and that'll give you bonus points for that final essay. Now, there is a plagiarism checker on this final essay. I'll reiterate this next week. Now, sometimes the plagiarism checker gets a little too overly zealous. It pulls things that are just mere coincidence, okay? But sometimes there's a red flag that goes off. If your plagiarism checker results show really anything over 25% of a match, my antenna go up, okay? So, if you use information that is not from your own brain, whether that is paraphrasing or quoting directly, you need to put in parentheses, classically, conventionally speaking, with MLA, it's the author's last name and the page number. Now, that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes, well, you're going to find an author for your sources here. Scholarly journal articles have an author or authors, okay? And there'll be a page number on the article, on the particular page of the article, okay? So last name and page number shouldn't be an issue, okay? So when I'm reading these papers, there's not going to be enough time for me to turn back around to you and say, hey, what's going on here? Did you attribute credit to your source? Doesn't look like it, okay? If you plagiarize and it's like obvious, you get a 0, okay? And there's no takesy-backsies with that, okay? I understand, you know, we all have to graduate and everything, but remember, you do that by being ethical and diligent, okay? You don't just get to do it, okay? So keep that in mind. Plagiarism checker was in place for the Matthew Arnold poem, Dover Beach. By the way, that's going to be graded and returned to you within 2 weeks, okay? And I think I said it this week for you all to see the results of the plagiarism checker, so you get to actually look at it and see what it's picking up, okay? You know, don't stress out. You know, most of you, probably all of you, are diligent, hardworking, good faith students who are ethically minded and are digging into this and minding your P's and Q's. That's all good. I'm not saying pull your hair out and drive yourself crazy over this stuff, but, you know, you want to do it right, okay? So I think that is a wrap on the video this week. We'll have one more video next week. Final word on the essay on the paper. Between this and next week, if you want to email me with any thoughts you're having, a rough draft check, let them fly. Send them on to me, okay? If you need any help with researching or anything at all, let me know. Let Mr. Churchwell know, too. We're all still available, remotely, though it is. Let us know, okay? All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I hope you have a great week. Hope you're all doing well. And I will talk to you again at the start of next week. All right, bye-bye.